Imagine a material that could make your phone battery last forever, your computer run at light speed, and literally levitate a train with zero energy loss. For a brief, wild moment last year, scientists thought they found it. But did they? And what does that have to do with ancient galaxies that shouldn't exist, or even miniature brains that can see? Get ready, because the universe just keeps getting weirder. 1. The LK99 roller coaster. Alright, let's kick this off with something that absolutely rocked the science world and the internet back in the summer of 2023. This is the story of LK99, and it's a physics mystery that played out in real time for all of us to see. Picture this, it's July 2023. A team of South Korean scientists drops a bombshell preprint paper claiming they've discovered the holy grail of material science, a room temperature, ambient pressure superconductor. They called it LK99. Now, why is that such a huge deal? Well, superconductors, as the name suggests, conduct electricity with zero resistance. That means no energy loss ever. We've known about them for ages, but they usually need to be supercooled to extreme temperatures, often below -196 degrees Celsius, or put under immense pressure. Imagine the cost and complexity. But room temperature and ambient pressure, that would literally change everything. Power grids would be ridiculously efficient, MRI machines would be cheaper, quantum computers would flourish, maglev trains would be commonplace and incredibly energy efficient. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie. The initial announcement sent shockwaves. The scientific community and then the public went absolutely wild. Researchers globally scrambled to replicate the findings. Memes of levitating LK99 magnets flooded social media. Everyone was holding their breath. Was this it? Had we just entered a new era of technology? Then came the slow, painstaking process of verification. As labs around the world attempted to synthesize LK99, the initial euphoria started to fade. While some observed interesting magnetic properties, specifically diamagnetism, which means the material repels a magnetic field, making it look like it could levitate, none could definitively confirm true superconductivity. The electrical resistance, a key indicator, was still present. It turns out LK99 might be a decent diamagnetic material, but it wasn't the zero-resistance superconductor we all dreamed of. So the dream of an immediate tech revolution powered by LK99 fizzled out, at least for now. But what an incredible public demonstration of the scientific process, right? The initial hype, the global replication efforts, the meticulous testing, and finally the measured, if disappointing, conclusion. It shows how science isn't just about discovery, but about rigorous verification. It was a wild ride, and who knows, maybe it paves the way for the real discovery someday soon. 2. Bringing back the mammoth. From theoretical physics to practical, boundary-pushing biology. This next one sounds like something straight out of a Jurassic Park novel, but it's happening right now in labs around the world. The de-extinction of the woolly mammoth. No, seriously, we're talking about bringing an extinct animal back to life. This incredible project is spearheaded by a company called Colossal Biosciences, co-founded by legendary geneticist George Church, a name you might recognize from the forefront of gene editing technology. Their audacious goal is to resurrect not just the woolly mammoth, but also other extinct species like the Tasmanian tiger or thylacine. How do you even begin to do that? Well, it's not about finding intact mammoth DNA and cloning it directly like in the movies. The DNA of extinct animals found in ice is usually too degraded for that. Instead, Colossal is using cutting-edge CRISPR gene editing technology. Their plan involves taking an Asian elephant, which is the closest living relative to the woolly mammoth, and modifying its DNA. They're meticulously inserting genes from ancient mammoth DNA, identified from well-preserved remains, into elephant cells. These genes are responsible for iconic mammoth traits: the shaggy, cold-resistant fur, the insulating fat layers, the distinct skull shape, and those tiny ears that help minimize heat loss in frigid environments. The idea is to create a mammophant, a hybrid animal that's genetically engineered to thrive in the Arctic. The ultimate vision goes beyond just bringing back a cool animal. Colossal believes that reintroducing these giants to the Arctic tundra could actually help combat climate change. Woolly mammoths and their sheer grazing power helped maintain the mammoth steppe ecosystem, a vast grassland that once covered much of the Arctic. Their constant trampling and grazing kept the permafrost frozen by removing insulating snow and compacting soil. Without them, the permafrost is thawing, releasing massive amounts of greenhouse gases. So this isn't just a biological stunt, it's an ambitious effort to use advanced genetics for ecological restoration. Of course, this raises a whole host of ethical questions, which are deeply debated. Should we be playing God with nature like this? What are the unforeseen ecological consequences? But from a pure scientific standpoint, the audacity and complexity of this project are absolutely mind-boggling. We're witnessing the dawn of de-extinction, and it's a testament to how far our understanding and manipulation of genetics have come. 3. Cosmic Anomaly, JWST's Ancient Giants. Alright, let's shift gears and zoom out, way out, to the very edges of our observable universe. Prepare for a mind-bending astronomy fact courtesy of the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, which is essentially our cosmic time machine. Its discoveries are making astronomers scratch their heads and even rethink fundamental aspects of the Big Bang model. When JWST began sending back its first images in 2022, everyone was blown away. It peered further back in time than any telescope before it, capturing light from galaxies that formed just a few 100 million years after the Big Bang, the cosmic dawn, basically. The expectation, based on our standard cosmological models, was to see small, infant galaxies at this early stage. Think tiny, newly formed clusters of stars, slowly growing over billions of years. But what JWST actually found was different. It detected several galaxies that were surprisingly massive, incredibly bright, and appeared far more mature than they had any right to be at that point in cosmic history. We're talking about galaxies that existed when the universe was only 200 to 500 million years old, yet they looked like galaxies that should have taken billions of years to form and evolve. One study, for example, identified 6 massive candidate galaxies that seemed to have formed at an impossibly early epoch. This is a huge deal. It's like looking at a baby photo of someone who's only a few months old, but they somehow look like a fully grown adult. Astronomers are now scrambling for explanations. Did galaxies form much faster in the early universe than we thought? Were there seeds of supermassive black holes that accelerated galaxy growth? Or, and this is the really wild part, does it mean that some of our fundamental assumptions about cosmology, or even the Big Bang model itself, might need significant revisions? These impossible galaxies are forcing scientists to completely reevaluate our understanding of how structure formed in the early universe. It's an ongoing mystery, a true cosmic anomaly that highlights the incredible power of new observational tools like JWST to challenge our deepest scientific paradigms. The universe, it seems, always has new secrets to reveal, and sometimes those secrets totally break our models. 4. Gene editing's healing touch, CRISPR cures in humans. Now, let's bring it back to Earth and talk about a truly monumental breakthrough in genetics and medicine, one that's actively changing lives right now. We've talked about CRISPR as a powerful gene editing tool for years, but recently it's moved from the lab bench into human clinics, delivering actual cures for devastating genetic diseases. You've probably heard of CRISPR-Cas9, the revolutionary molecular scissors that can precisely cut and edit DNA. For a long time, the promise was huge, but the actual in-human application, especially for systemic diseases, seemed a ways off. Well, that ways off is now. In a landmark achievement, late in 2023 and early 2024, the first CRISPR-based gene therapies for inherited diseases received regulatory approval in the US, UK, and Europe. We're talking specifically about Casgevy, Exogam globogene autotemcel, a treatment developed by Vertex Pharmaceuticals and CRISPR Therapeutics. This therapy is approved for treating 2 severe blood disorders, sickle cell disease and transfusion-dependent beta thalassemia. Think about the impact. Patients with sickle cell disease suffer from excruciating pain crises, organ damage, and shortened lifespans, often requiring lifelong blood transfusions. Beta thalassemia patients also depend on frequent, lifelong transfusions just to survive. Casgevy works by taking a patient's own bone marrow stem cells, using CRISPR to edit a specific gene in those cells, and then reinfusing them back into the patient. The edited cells then produce healthy hemoglobin, effectively correcting the genetic root cause of the disease. The results from clinical trials have been absolutely stunning, with many patients achieving functional cures, free from pain crises and transfusion dependence. Isn't just treating symptoms, it's fixing the problem at the fundamental genetic level. It represents a monumental shift in medicine, moving beyond managing chronic conditions to potentially eradicating them entirely with a one-time treatment. It's a testament to decades of research, culminating in a therapy that is literally rewriting the genetic code for a healthier future. The ethical considerations are still profound, but the immediate impact on patients' lives is nothing short of miraculous. 5. Miniature brains that see the light, literally. And finally, let's wrap up with something that sounds like it belongs in a sci-fi horror film, but is in fact real cutting-edge biology. Imagine growing miniature human brains in a lab, and then those many brains start to develop eyes. Yup, you heard that right. Scientists have been growing brain organoids for years. These aren't full conscious brains, but rather 3D cellular structures grown from human stem cells in petri dishes that mimic the complex architecture and function of parts of the human brain. They're incredibly valuable for studying brain development, neurological diseases like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, and testing new drugs, all without needing to experiment on actual human brains. But in 2021, a team at the University Hospital Düsseldorf in Germany made an astonishing discovery. While culturing these brain organoids, they observed that some of them spontaneously developed optic cups. These are rudimentary eye-like structures that form during early embryonic development. These optic cups contained various cell types found in the human retina, including light-sensitive photoreceptor cells. Even more mind-blowing, they even showed electrical activity when exposed to light, meaning they were actually detecting it. And they formed neural connections to the rest of the brain organoid tissue, suggesting these mini eyes were trying to talk to the mini brain. This is seriously wild stuff. It's an incredible insight into how complex structures like eyes develop and integrate with the brain. It also opens up new avenues for studying retinal diseases and vision development. But it undeniably raises some serious ethical and philosophical questions. As these organoids become increasingly complex, displaying more sophisticated features, where do we draw the line? Are we inching closer to creating structures with rudimentary consciousness or sensory experiences? It's a fascinating and slightly unsettling peek into the future of biological research, reminding us that the human body's developmental instructions are incredibly powerful, even outside the body. And there you have it, folks. From the roller coaster ride of potential superconductors to de-extinct mammoths, universe-breaking galaxies, life-changing gene cures, and many brains with many eyes, the world and the universe are continually throwing us curveballs that challenge everything we thought we knew. Science truly is the ultimate story generator. Stay curious.